Hey everybody, my name is Brian Nichols. This is going to be another MMA event preview. Today I want to preview the Invicta fights that are actually going on tomorrow, which I think is March 6th. Yes, 2020. It's going to be shown on UFC Fight Pass if you're unaware. I wanted to kind of do a preview for this event because I live in Kansas, in the Kansas City area, and this is where Invicta is headquartered. So they do a lot of their events here. I would say the majority of their events here, and no different for this event for tomorrow. And this event going on is Invicta Phoenix Series 3. And if you're unfamiliar with their Phoenix Series, basically it's a one-night tournament style event. And of course, the commissions aren't, at least in the United States, aren't very, what's the word? They don't allow tournament styles because they don't want fighters to fight obviously too much in one night. So Invicta was able to work around and probably work with the Kansas State Athletic Commission, and what they were able to figure out was if they had a 8-woman, in this case, 8-woman tournament, what they would do, what they would do is they have quarterfinals, semifinal, and then finals. And the quarterfinal is 1 5-minute round. The semifinal is 1 5-minute round, and then the final is 3 5-minute rounds. So altogether, it'd almost be like you're fighting a normal 5-minute rounds, like in a normal title fight, like in UFC, but it's over the course of altogether could be possibly 3 fights. But of course, if you finish every fight in a minute, it's only 3 minutes of fighting for 3 fights. So I really like the style. Again, this is Phoenix Series 3. Let me transition over here to, I'll show you the page for it. This is Phoenix Series 3. Phoenix Series 1 and 2. Number 2, I wasn't able to make it, but I was there for Phoenix Series 1. It's actually super exciting. And what's interesting to know is Phoenix Series 1, the winner of that, which is, did I bring her up? I did at one point. Her name is Brianna Van Buren. She was the winner of the strawweight tournament, and she's now in the UFC. Now, I think, let me look at her Tapology. I think it was literally right after that event. Yeah, so this is the Invicta FC Phoenix Series 1. She beat Kaylin Curran, which another UFC vet. I wonder, did Kaylin have any other fights since then? She hasn't. Wow. I always thought Kaylin was actually really good in the UFC. I know her record obviously didn't show it, but I feel like she just had good skills. She just, it's hard to put my finger on exactly what she was missing out on. But she got cut from the UFC. She went to Invicta. She got in this tournament, maybe hoping get a couple more wins, then move on back in the UFC. But she lost to Brianna, and then Brianna Bam got right into the UFC and got a win there. So if history is to repeat itself, fighters in these Phoenix Series definitely could get a shot in the UFC pretty quickly. Phoenix Series number 2, I think her name was, Miranda Maverick. She won that, and she actually beat another somewhat UFC vet in, what was her name? Deanna Bennett, that's right, because she was on The Ultimate Fighter as well. And Miranda, let me bring up her Tapology. She's 7-2, so a pretty good record, for some of the women. And she beat Deanna here. This was back, so September 2019. And she just beat Pearl Gonzalez, another UFC vet, which everybody's always hyped for Pearl. Pearl always brings it. And she won a unanimous decision there. Did that go 3 rounds? Yeah, 3 rounds. And she did that February 7th. I'll be honest, that's 1, 2, granted 2 of the fights are exhibitions. But she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row. And she beat Deanna Bennett. She basically, tied it up with her. She got that loss back. I could see her totally getting a shot in the UFC for her next fight. How old is she? 22. Think about that. 22 years old, 7-2, about to get a shot in the UFC. I bet. So that's Phoenix Series 2. So here we have Phoenix Series 3. So again, whoever wins this could be one or maybe one, if maybe 2 fights and then into the UFC. Now looking at the card, we have the all of the fights on the card, of course, are majority of them are exhibition bouts, but we have 2 fights that aren't part of the competition. Main event being for the, I want to say, vacant 135-pound title for Invicta. And it looks like it's Elisa Verzosa versus Julija Stoliarenko. I apologize, probably butchering that name. But Julia, excuse me, or Julija, she was on The Ultimate Fighter. If she looks familiar at all, she was in The Ultimate Fighter. How long ago was that? So season 28. She was in the finale and lost. That was end of 2018. So since then, she's had 1, 2, 3, 4. She had 4 wins just in 2019. So she's out there getting experience and getting better. And now here she comes in Invicta. Is this her first time in Invicta? I think it is. Yep. And so here she comes in getting a shot at the inaugural bantamweight belt at Invicta. And then Lisa, she's 5-0, so she's still new and up and coming. And she's Shayna Young. I know that name sounds familiar. So she's been with she's almost been with Invicta her whole time, and now she's getting a shot at the 135 pound belt. So so I don't know. I'm not super pumped for the 135 pound belt in the main event, but of course I'll watch it. And then the co-main is 115 pounds, so obviously strawweight. Kay Hansen versus Liana Perosin. I'm not familiar with either of them. I'm honestly not familiar with a lot of the fighters on this card, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, why watch these other promotions? And this is the benefit. You get to see some of these up-and-coming fighters. Like, you see them win tournaments. You see them win, certain tough fights. And then when they get in the UFC, you're like, oh, shit, I know what they've been through. It's just, it's super exciting to me. So at this point, not even knowing much about them almost makes it more exciting just to see, when I went to the Invicta Fighting Series, or Phoenix Series 1, that's where I watched those fights with Brianna Van Buren. Obviously, I was there in person. And when I saw her, the very first fight, I was like, damn, this chick is, not only on another level compared to the other girls she's fighting, but she was in there I think that's her nickname, of the Bull. She was definitely the Bull. She fucking went after him. And you could see the same thing coming out of some of these girls. Some of these girls, obviously Brianna's 9-2, so she obviously has a 11 fight record at this point. But a lot of these girls don't have the experience that Brianna has, so they definitely probably, even if they win this tournament, I don't think they'll get a shot right in the UFC afterwards. Granted, when they win, let's say Mitzi here wins, she's 2-1, she'll have to win 3 fights, so she'd be 5-1. I mean, that looks better. Man, being in this tournament, you could rack up wins real quick. So I'm excited. I'm excited to, again, I don't know much about a lot of these fighters, so I'm going in with kind of a blank slate. Sometimes I'll take notes on my phone of what fighters to kind of keep track of, that even if they lose, if they looked really good, if they lose a decision or something, I might do that as well. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to this card. This is tomorrow night. I have to go buy my ticket still. Jeez. But yeah, I'm really excited for that, and that's what I basically wanted to talk about. Oh, there was one last thing I want to talk about, and I have let me post it right here real quick. I'll post a link in the description about this, but look at this. Look at this. Max Holloway eager for real-time scoring at Invicta FC event. If you haven't heard, and then thanks to Marc Raimondi at ESPN for putting this up, because I didn't even know this until I think I saw it pop up on Reddit, and I was like, wait, what? So Invicta, and I don't think this is the first ever in MMA, but this is the first ever I can think of, and because don't get me wrong, Invicta's not a major promotion. Obviously, it's a great promotion for women to get into the UFC. But for a promotion at least of Invicta size and bigger, I haven't heard of any promotions doing open scoring. And it looks like this event will be the first one that I can think of, and that's what they're going to be doing. And from what I read, per the thing here for Marc Raimondi, is basically a quick rundown is between the rounds, they aren't going to say it over the intercom like, oh, judge whatever scored at this, judge 2 scored at that. what they're going to do is they're going to put it up on the screens for the crowd, and I'm sure they'll show it on screen during the playback. But they're also going to have people standing near the cages with like a tablet or something, and they're going to be showing basically towards the corner of each fighter. So one person on each side showing each corner, saying, "Hey, this is the judge's ruling thus far." And I want to say, if I remember correctly from reading this, it's actually going to be after the round is completed. So basically, let's say a first round finish or a first round happens, and then the fighters are in their corner, and the corners, talking to them. During that time, of course, somebody goes around, collects all the recordings from the judges, and then they tally them up and then give them to the people holding the screens. And so when the corners go back outside the cage, at that point, or it might I don't know, I'd have to read it again. It's either they're going to go back outside the cage and then the fight starts, thinking, say, you won that round or something like that, or while they're standing there talking to their fighters, they can look over and see, oh, looks like you won that round. And basically, from what I'm reading, is the commission doesn't want to mess with the current they don't want to mess with the 1 minute that the fighters have. Basically, they're allowing the coach to make the decision as to whether to tell the fighters or not. I think that's a crazy smart idea. Hats off to the person or people that came up with that, because kind of just blaring it over the loudspeakers. Like, what if the fighter doesn't want to know? What if they do want to know? It's up. They can sit down and be like, hey, did I win that round? And they can go, yes, you did. So that's actually pretty awesome. It sounds, and again, from reading the and actually it's down here. If you want to read exactly how it'll work, Marc Raimondi talks about it, but I'm obviously giving you the quick rundown. What was the other thing I was going to say? They don't want to take away from the recovery time. And there was something else. Yeah, they aren't going to put over the PE systems. They're going to show it. And, I don't remember the other thing that they want. Obviously, like the thing says here, Max Holloway, he's actually going to fly in, which is going to be fucking badass. I think I saw Max Holloway in person when I was at one of the UFC, what do they have, like the press, or not press, but one of the Q&A things. I saw him sitting down there with Daniel Cormier, so that was cool. But yeah, I guess he's literally flying in just to support this event because of open scoring. So that's pretty fucking cool. So I think I'm definitely, going to go to this event. But I wanted to make a real quick video about that. Again, I'll post the Tapology for this event in the description, as well as I'll link the ESPN article from Marc Raimondi about that. So pretty excited. I haven't been to a local show MMA fight in it's been a little bit, and I need to start going more. So I'm gonna be hitting that up tomorrow, having a good time. And if you're not here in Kansas City, obviously you can catch it on Fight Pass if you have that. If you're not here, if you are here in Kansas City, come on out and have a good time and enjoy the fight. So if anything, thanks for watching. Have a good night, and talk to you next time. Peace.